Hello, welcome back to Pattie's podcast. We're back with our last episode for season 2, and it's a brilliant episode. And Pattie, who have we got on today?
We're very lucky to have the magnificent, wonderful Madeleine Bell. I first became aware of Madeleine when she was in a band called Blue Mink, which I adored, and this goes back to 60s, 70s, I think. And she was in the band with Roger Cook, and together they were a dynamic duo. And I've seen her since then, off and on, mainly in Spike Edney's band when he plays at Guildford Live. And she's a most fantastic backup singer. Great voice, great personality, huge fun.
Yeah, she is amazing. So this is a brilliant episode. We hope you enjoy it. This is Cocktails with Pattie and Madeline Bell.
So I'm doing this one-woman show.
Oh, I would love to see it. I would love to.
It's just me and David Arch, my favorite. He's the conductor for Strictly.
Oh,
He's
right.
my keyboard.
Oh,
That's
really?
my band.
Oh, really?
The rhythm section is my band. They came to see us at Ronnie's about 15, 16 years ago from the BBC and booked my band. And when they're doing Strictly, I can't work because that's the only band I work with to do my own thing.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Anyway, so it'll be me, David Arch, just him on piano, me with a microphone, a table, and a nice comfortable chair. And I'm going to be reading from my notes that I've been writing for the past 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Talk about what was happening in the 60s and what was happening in the 70s and everything. I had to go into the whole Dusty thing and everything.
Yeah, because I know that you were great friends with Dusty, weren't you?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for her.
Really?
She gave me my first gig. I met her. Ready, Steady, Go, New Year's Eve party, 1964. And she came over to me and said, I heard about you. Do you do sessions? And I said, yeah. I was so hungry. I didn't have any work or anything. I said, yeah. And I'd just been for an interview at the International Cinema in Westbourne Grove. And they offered me a job, which I eventually accepted for 6 days a week, 11 hours a day, 6 guineas a week. And then I got the call when I got back home. Ring this number, and I rang the number, and it was Johnny France, who was Dusty's record producer. It was his secretary, and she said, Dusty wants to know if you can do a session tomorrow. Yeah. I get there, 3 hours later, they had me a brown envelope. What was in it? 6 guineas.
No.
For 3 hours.
No.
Instead of 66 hours a week.
No.
Yeah. So Dusty gave me my first gig.
Great.
Yeah.
Good for Dusty. I love Dusty's voice. She was so fabulous.
And she was just great.
I would love to hear you and her singing together, which you would have done.
We used to do that when we shared a flat. We used to do that a lot.
But did you record?
No, I just did our backing vocals. That's all. Yeah. And she did mine. She's on a lot of my stuff as well.
How did you start? How did you know you had a voice?
Singing in church, singing
Yeah.
in school,
Yeah.
coming from...
Newark,
Yep,
New Jersey.
yep.
And you see, I know that more than I know North London.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah. She knows where Newark is. She doesn't know where Southgate is.
So, Danny, you've sung with so many amazing people.
Everybody. The Billy Preston session I did.
Love Billy.
Produced by George.
Yeah.
Eric on guitar. Klaus Vorman on bass. Ginger Baker on drums. And me and Doris Troy. And
Not
Billy
bad.
did all the backing vocals.
Not bad. Now, you know what I love, Madeline, and I will never, ever forget when you did Blue Mink, when you were in Blue Mink. I love that little band.
That was, I'm still close to Roger Cook. We stay in contact at least once or twice a month because he lives in Nashville now. And he's done so well. He's been inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, the first Englishman.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of his songwriting?
Yeah. He's
It was
still
a great
doing
song.
so well. But I mean, Roger Cook And Roger Greenaway wrote, I'd like to teach the world to sing.
Oh, did they?
They wrote, I see that worried look upon your face. You got your troubles, I got mine.
Beautiful.
So much stuff they wrote. In fact, it's something like 1,500 top 30 hits that they've been involved in, that they've either written or produced or.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
They should be more famous than they are.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole documentary on YouTube about them because they were like only second to Lennon and McCartney. But they surpassed Lennon and McCartney because they were writing before, and they've continued to write right up till now.
Just write.
Right.
And so
Cookie tries to write
anyone can sing their songs.
Cookie tries to write one song a day. Like Stevie, when I worked with Stevie did the same thing. He writes a song a day.
No, he was a great songwriter. I love Stevie Wonder. I'm in love with him.
I did the Talk of the Town with him.
Did you?
I talked about that last night. And Ringo, I did the Talk of the Town with Ringo.
No, I want to hear about Stevie.
I got a call on a Tuesday morning. I know it was Tuesday. I'll tell you why. And this guy, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, this guy said, is that Madeline Bell? And I said, yes. He said, my name is blah, blah, and I'm Stevie Wonder's manager. And I went, yeah, right. And he said, no, seriously. He said, I was giving you a number. Stevie opened last night at the Talk of the Town, and he sang his latest record, and he didn't have the backing singers, and I just wanted to know if you were available. I was told to call you, and I said, yeah. Because I was going anyway.
God, how
so
exciting.
When I say Tuesday, because Stevie opened on the Monday night.
Yeah.
So he said, can you get another singer? So I rang P.P. Arnold. And she said, yeah, girl, yeah. So I told her we got to be at the Royal Garden Hotel at something like 2 o'clock. We met at the Royal Garden. Stevie's manager came down, got us, took us up to Stevie's suite, and both of us are like that, you know. Stevie Wonder, we're going to see Stevie Wonder. Close. Anyway, we get to his suite, and introduced to him, and he, hey girls, how you doing? And he took us into another room, and he's keyboards all the way around the room. He knew where every particular keyboard was, and he went over to the keyboard, and it was me, Pat, and Cyrita. Because
really?
They were engaged at the time.
Did they get married?
Yeah, but it was only I don't think they lasted very long as a
Okay.
marriage, but they continued to write. They wrote some good stuff. And he said, this is what I want you to sing. Here I am, baby. Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Yeah, that's what all we had to sing for 2 weeks. And we got paid $200 each, which we would have paid them. And got a chance to watch Stevie every night, and that was all we had to sing was that one song. And I'd stand on the stage and just watch him. Yeah.
What a dream.
And I've seen him a couple of times since then. You know, I saw him one night in Stringfellows. I was about to leave because I was doing the Talk of the Town. Yeah. And I forget what the manager's name was. And he came over to me and he said, don't leave. He said, when the club closes, Stevie's coming. And I said, oh, okay. So I sat there and waited, and they emptied the club. And then eventually Stevie came in. And they had a piano right by the entrance. And he sat down and started playing. He did like 15, 20 minutes just playing. And it was just his entourage in there and me and some of the guys in my band. And I was getting ready to leave, and one of his guys came over to me and said, Stevie wants to know why you're leaving without saying goodbye. So they had already told him. Yeah, they'd already told him that I was there, yeah? So I went over and I had my hair in plaits.
Yeah.
You know, sort of like this.
Yeah.
And I got down on one knee because he was sitting down, and I thought, well, if I'm going to get on my knees to anybody, it's going to be Stevie. And he put his hand, and he was feeling my head, and he said, hey, how you been doing, girl, and everything. And he said, who did your hair? And I told him who did. He said, will she do mine? I said, anytime you like. But I gave him the number, but they were leaving like the next day or something like that. Then I saw him again in Jakarta at the Java Jazz Festival. That was about 6 years ago. Then I saw him again in Rotterdam at the North Sea Jazz Festival. Yeah, that's my Stevie. And I always include at least one Stevie Wonder song in my set all the time.
Well done.
And I've been lucky enough to, I work with this band in Holland called the Jazz Orchestra of the Concertgebouw. And I love these guys. And they rang me and said, this was 2005, I think, 6. And they said, you know the film that's coming out, Ray? And I said, yeah. They said, we've just heard from the production company. They want to know if we will promote it because we got the same size band. And they said, we'd like you to come and do the songs. We don't want to get a guy because we don't want the guy to be like impersonating Ray Charles. We want it from a female perspective. So I said, yeah. And they said, come in and record. We went in the studio, recorded, and we promoted the film in 12, 13 different cinemas around Holland before the film came out. And that's how many times I saw the movie. And since then, we have done 60 shows. We've been to China. We've been to Eastern Europe. Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder concert. Wow. First set is Ray Charles, second set is Stevie Wonder. And we were supposed to go to Estonia on the 12th of March, 2020. And I flew over to Amsterdam, and 2 days later I had to fly straight back in the lockdown. And the 2 concerts that we had, which had been sold out for ages, was cancelled.
That's so disappointing for everybody.
I know.
I know what I want to ask you. I heard, I don't know if it was a rumour, that you shared a flat with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, well, I shared a flat in that it was Jimmy and Chaz Chandler's flat.
Yeah.
And Jimmy was going to the States to tour, and my boyfriend at the time, his name was Tony Garland, he was part of the management, so he was going with Jimmy. So he said, and him and Jimmy said, why don't you come and stay here with Kathy, Jimmy's girlfriend, Kathy Etchingham, whom I'm still close with.
Oh,
I spent Christmas with them 2018, and then 2019 they came and stayed with me for a week because she lives in Australia now. She's Australian citizen and everything now. And that was there was a restaurant above us, across the street from us, called BRG's, Upper Berkeley Street. Yeah, okay. That's where and I lived in the flat. So, I mean, Jimmy stayed there a couple of nights while I was there, but the rest of the time he was on tour. But people like to think that I shared a flat with Jimmy, so I say, yeah, okay.
Why not?
I used to cook. He liked my cooking as well. And he always called me Miss Madeleine.
Oh, did he?
I loved Jimmy. He was such a sweet guy. I mean,
so gentle.
Everybody thought he was like really, wasn't aggressive on stage. It was just his music was, but off stage he was just such a sweet guy, you know. People don't know that though.
Now you finished that coffee dyeing. You finished it. Yeah. Are you ready to move on to more sophisticated
on up to something a bit
drinks?
More powerful?
Now, I know that you're a kava drinker. I'm not a kava drinker.
No, I'm drinking tequila.
But now we're going to have your favorite tequila.
I don't need more than one in there, okay?
Okay.
I'm watching you.
Okay. 2 for me and the boy.
Yeah, because I got to get back.
All right, come here. The small things to go in this.
Yeah.
So that was the tequila.
That was the tequila.
1, and now 2 of this freshly, beautifully squeezed orange juice for you.
Just 2?
You can have, if you're a good guy.
Yeah, dilute it a bit more. Okay. I don't want to be seen staggering in the streets, you know.
No. Saying you've come from me.
Where have you come from, Madam? Her place. It's her fault.
Her fault. So when you're on stage, do you sing and talk?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's already on YouTube. I woke up to all these posts and messages and everything, and my one biggest fan is a guy named Jonathan Buxton, and he brought me 100 CDs that I asked him to have printed up for me. Yeah. And we sold really well. And, thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, he had 100 CDs printed up. And I just said to the audience, I'm being bootlegged as I speak. So I decided to bootleg myself. This is something that I did. And this album, the first album, I recorded with John Paul Jones from Zeppelin, because he's my brother. That's my little brother. And we recorded this in 1972.
Yeah.
And I think I brought it. I might have brought it.
Cheers, darling girl.
Cheers. Cheers. Yeah, we think that's nice.
It's rather nice.
It's rather.
It's not, it doesn't bite. What do you think, Matt?
holiday.
That's what we all want. Bit of sun. Is it sunny in Spain now?
No.
Till May? Would it
Well,
be
it
nice
will be
then?
sunny, but we've had last week, it was so windy that if you opened the door,
Yeah.
the wind was knocking you over, literally.
I love nature.
Yeah, and I live just across the road from the sea,
How do
from
I?
the Mediterranean. You know, I'm right there. So, and the waves, you could see the waves coming up and everything.
Fabulous.
But you could wake up tomorrow morning and it's a beautiful, beautiful, sunny, 25-degree day. That's what it's like down there. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And I love where I live. I couldn't live back here anymore.
No. Do you know what I miss? I'm very lucky because I have this little flat here, but I have a cottage in West Sussex,
Yeah.
which is great. The only downfall is I never see a sunset. Because when they built it, it was a workman's cottage, and they didn't build cottages thinking, now where's the sun going to set, right? And place it in a proper place. So I never see a sunset. I'm longing for a sunset.
I see the sun come up over there, and I see the sun go down over there.
Oh, no, that's a dream. That's
Every
a
day,
dream.
Yeah, and I really do love where I live. And Barry and I, we bought our house 41 years. This year will be 42 years. I gotta tell you, my husband Barry, he was in the band called the Ferris Wheel.
Oh, I remember Ferris Wheel.
He was the drummer.
Oh,
and he was in the
right.
Checkmates before that.
Oh, really?
So he was in Hamburg when the guys were in Hamburg.
Stop.
But they were the big stars, and the guys would.
Does Barry remember them being there?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Yeah, Barry died.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But he used to talk about the days, and he and I were in Liverpool, so we went to the Albert Dock, and there was a photo in the sort of cavern, and there was a photo up on the wall, and it said George Harrison in Hamburg, and Barry said, "That's me. That's not George," and it was Barry.
Stop. No.
And
how could they get it so wrong?
Yeah, and he actually rang the guy who took the picture. Gibson Kemp was his name.
I remember that name.
Gibson Kemp. And he said, "Gibson, you remember taking the picture of me?" And Gibson said, "Yeah." He said, "I took a picture." He said, "You were hanging out the window doing that." And that's the picture we're talking about. So Barry said, "We can't tell people of the cavern. They don't know." But they had the picture of George and a picture of Barry, but they had George Harrison's name. Wait, I got a picture of
I
Barry.
love that.
And he always used to get mistaken.
That is very funny. Yeah. You know who lives here? A friend of yours, Jimmy Page.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not far from here.
Jimmy and John. John Paul
Yes,
Jones.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. John, like I said, I mean, we all used to do sessions together. And I remember being at John's house, because I used to go around because we did sessions so much that I went to their house one day and they had a newborn baby whom I fell in love with, Tammy. She's 52 now.
Where does time go?
And I've been part of that family ever since.
Oh, have you?
That's the main family. My main family, John and Mel, his wife.
So how did you and Spike get together?
Stevie Langer. She said, "Darling, Spike wants to know if you'd be interested in doing a couple of gigs."
Yeah. I love Spike. He's got such a good energy. Did you ever meet George?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I did the
yeah.
session.
Right. Yeah, of
In
course.
fact, I did Back Off Boogaloo with Ringo, and George produced that. I did Billy Preston,
I love
that whole
Billy.
album. That's the Way God Planned It.
Wasn't he brilliant and beautiful?
And he has still not been replaced. Nobody can ever touch Billy Preston when
No.
it comes to playing. Yeah, what else did I do with George? I did something with John as well. Power to the People. Mm-hmm. We went to his house for that. Only to be told, no, he decided to do it at EMI, so we had to come all the way. But we were being paid, so 15 of us.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
after it came out, I saw on Wikipedia, it credits Yoko Ono as being one of the backing singers. No, she wasn't. I saw something yesterday. You know, all of these performers have taken their songs down from Spotify.
Yeah. Well,
I saw something.
It's Neil Young and Joni Mitchell.
Yeah. But I saw something yesterday. It said Yoko Ono has threatened to post her music on Spotify if they don't sack this particular person. So everybody's saying, please sack this person. Oh, poor.
You know, she and I are the only Beatle widows, because the others, you see, weren't married to them when they were Beatles. I'm a museum piece, darling.
Yes, you are. You really are. You really
Thanks. You sang with Kiki D, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I think you've sung with just about everyone.
Me and Kiki do the stuff with Spike. We did
Yes.
Sisters and all of that. But me and Kiki did all backing vocals for Dusty in the early days when Kiki was 16. And there's a video of, remember the NME poll?
Yeah.
There was a poll concert and she was voted #1. And everybody was on it. Everybody. And the backing singers was me, Kiki D, and Leslie Duncan.
Little Leslie.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh.
Leslie wrote Love Song for Elton.
Wow, I
Yeah.
haven't heard her name in years.
Bless her, she died a couple of days either before or after Barry.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All the singers, I mean, me and Kiki are pretty, there aren't many of us left.
And you also realise how time goes by so quickly, and how occasionally we don't make the most of every minute of the day. It sounds exhausting, but...
How many times have you been to a funeral and you know everybody there and everybody says, we got to meet up again, and you don't see them again until the next funeral? We should make an effort to see each other.
We have to, particularly now. Our time is very short now. We've had the most of it.
I've had a good time.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I just say, for somebody with a 10th grade education, I don't think I did bad. I got thrown out of school because I they weren't teaching me the same lessons that my grandmother was teaching me.
There.
And the things that we should have known, they weren't teaching. I mean, they didn't teach things about Black history. None of that was ever taught in American schools when I was going to school. Never. All they told us about was George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and how, you know, all of that. And now it's coming out, but they didn't teach us any of that. But my grandmother had lived it. So she used to talk about it all the time. And I just was not interested in going to school. All I wanted to do was eat. So I spent a lot of time in the kitchen with my grandmother and in the cooking classes in school and sing.
How perfect.
Yeah, and I played hooky for 51 days straight. I wasn't being naughty. I was
going to say, what did you do?
I went to this woman. Her mother and my grandmother were really good friends, so we sort of grew up together. And I used to call her my cousin, and she lived like 5 minutes walk from the high school that I went to. So I used to go to her house and go to sleep on the couch. And after 51 days, somebody knocked on the door, and I opened the door, and it was my grandmother. And all I felt was her hand across my face and me picking myself up off the floor. So she knew where to find me.
Yes.
The school had gotten in touch and told her that I hadn't been to school, and she knew exactly where to find me. So I had to go back to school. This was like in May 1958. And when I came back, and school broke in June for the summer, when I went back in September, couldn't find my name on the list what class I was going to. So I was advised, you have to go to the principal's office. And when I went to the principal's office, he said, Madeline Bell does not go to this school anymore.
Oh.
They had expelled me.
Oh, my God.
So I went home. I had to tell my grandmother. And she wasn't surprised. And she just said to me, well, you know you ain't going to lay up here on your ass all day. You're going to have to get out and get a job.
Yeah.
Go to the supermarket and get some chicken backs. Because that was dinner. And I got to the supermarket, and the owner knew my grandmother. And he said, what are you doing at the school? Does your grandmother know? And I said, yeah, I was expelled from school. And he said, do you want a job? I said, yeah. He said, well, go and take your groceries home and come back. And I went back, and so within an hour of going home telling my grandmother that I was expelled, I had a job.
So what age were you when you came to England?
I came over in 1962
Yeah.
in a musical called Black Nativity. And it's a whole long story, but we came over for 6 weeks. 4 weeks in Italy, because they had seen the producer of this festival in Italy had seen us in New York off Broadway. And he said he wanted to take the show to Italy. So it was agreed. That was in November, December 61. June 62, we flew from New York to Rome via different stops. We stopped had to change planes, like 3 or 4 times, the cheapest tickets. And we came over, did Spoleto, Italy, and then came to London to record for Associated Rediffusion.
I
Remember them?
Yes.
And then go home. And while we were in the studio recording the TV show, this guy came and said that he had a theater that he was leasing and he would like to put the show on. And that was the Criterion. We played the Criterion, the Piccadilly, the Phoenix, and the Strand. And then we toured. We were here, instead of 6 weeks, we were in Europe for 14 months.
Wow.
And on the last night at the Strand, this guy came over and he introduced himself as Norman Newell, and he said, "I'd like to sign you up." And I'm still here. So I went home.
Did your grandmother?
Yeah, and told my grandmother,
she was
and she
thrilled.
said, "Honey, opportunity rarely knocks more than once. So go over there and see what you can do. And if nothing happens and you have to come back home, you know you got a home to come back to." And I've been here ever since.
Oh, your grandmother must be so proud of you.
She was a dancer in the Cotton Club, so she'd already been in the music business, or show business. So my mom wasn't musical at all.
No.
I mean, she could sing. My mom could sing, but
sometimes it misses a generation,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
But my mom, she had a good voice, my mom, but she wasn't. She liked being a backstage mom.
Yes, yes.
Manchester United, basically. Yeah.
Have you played at Ronnie Scott's? I love that club.
First time I played Ronnie Scott. See, that's another question. First time I played Ronnie's was April 1987, having turned it down for 25 years because I was always scared of the place. Since then, me and my guys have played there 31 times.
Oh my gosh. It's a great club, isn't it? Yeah. And it has been for years and years and years.
Yeah, but since Ronnie died, it's different. Ronnie
I
and
see.
Pete King and the people who own it now, it's all about money.
That's everywhere,
Yeah.
Madeleine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Money is just the god, for some people's god.
It really
I
is
don't
the
get
root.
it. And it's a shame. It's sad, but people are guided by it. And well, we love this drink. Cheers.
Cheers. From now on, this is what
do you
we
think?
will have.
Did you like it, Matt?
Do you like Tequila Sunrise? You still feel like it? You still feel like you're on holiday? I do, yeah. Where's your umbrella? You should be laying under it.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to thank Madeleine so much for that really, really great podcast. My God, that girl has been working non-stop. She's quite iconic and fabulous. And I enjoyed seeing her after many years, actually, seeing and talking to her properly. And Madeleine, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Madeleine. It was amazing to meet you and enjoy the Tequila Sunrise with you, which was delicious. I've never actually had a Tequila Sunrise before. That was my first experience, and I loved it. And I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago I said how the vodka martini that Spike introduced has become a staple in my household, which is still true, but the Tequila Sunrise is now also a staple. My wife loves it, and so we make that regularly. So those two are like my favourite.
I think you can get away with a Tequila Sunrise in some way because you're drinking vitamin C.
Oh, I like that.
As well as alcohol, you see. The
What a
two balance.
What a brilliant justification. That's it's one of your 5 a day.
Yeah.
So that's very good. Did you have a favourite cocktail from this series?
Well, do you know, for me, the one that I wasn't very familiar with, which I'm becoming very familiar with now, is the Negroni that Roger Taylor introduced me to.
Yes.
And It's delicious, but it gives you that amazing sort of donkey kick that sometimes you want to start the evening off, and it's really good. Yeah, that was the one for me.
I actually had that at Christmas time as well, but it sort of strikes me as a summery drink. But I think it kind of works both seasons.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, the one that I want to revisit is the Navy Grog, which was
Kenny Jones.
Yeah. Do you remember that? I can't remember what was in it. It was a lot of rum.
Lot of rum.
Yeah.
It didn't appeal to me really and truly.
No.
I wouldn't. I mean, that's a winter drink, I think.
Yes.
Or it could be summer drink if you think of the Caribbean islands or...
Yeah, very true. Well, that's some of our favourite drinks. We'd love to know what your favourite cocktails have been on this season. So leave a comment in the comment section below, or leave some comments on the Instagram or Facebook. And we'd love to know what cocktails you've tried, what ones you've enjoyed, what ones are new. And perhaps cocktails that you guys really enjoy that we haven't explored. Let us know, and we'd love to check those out. But that's it for season 2. It's been an amazing journey. We really hope you have enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed creating it. And the good news is we are working on season 3 right now. So we have a few guests that we've already spoken to and recorded, and we've got a few more lined up. And we're hoping to get it all out September, October, something like that. So stay tuned. If you want to connect with Pattie and find out more about the podcast, maybe this is your first time tuning in, we've got tons of great episodes. You can find them all at pattiespodcast.co.uk. You can find them on Spotify Music and Apple Podcasts and all those wonderful places. So thank you so much, and we will be back later on this year.
I just want to say thank you all very much for listening, and I hope and trust you enjoyed everything, and I hope and trust too that you've been inspired. Have a lovely, gorgeous summer doing whatever you're doing, and see you in the autumn. Thank you. Bye.
you.